today I want to talk about fear because we think of fear being a negative thing, and sometimes it's not, but it also can really hold us back, especially women. So first I want to talk to you about the idea of good fear and how it can be helpful. So fear is instinctual. It's often telling us that there's danger ahead or that we shouldn't take the next step. And this is the kind of fear we really want to pay attention to. Now, you know if it's good fear if it's something where you have a lot to risk. I think of an example of that person who gets on American Idol and has no idea how to sing. That person could have easily prevented that just by asking for real feedback from someone and singing for one person and saying, would this be a good idea for me to do this? That's a great thing you can do if you want to determine whether or not you should take a next step. The other thing to think about is, are there very negative implications for this? For example, financial is a big one. If you want to take out a huge loan for your new business or sink all of your money into it, that's where you really need to pay attention to that fear because you truly do have a lot to risk and there are real negative consequences. On the other hand, it's really important to know that the huge percentage of fear that's holding us back is not the kind of fear we should be paying attention to. I like to think of this as kind of that angel and devil on your shoulder. So that angel is the good fear, telling you not to take out a huge loan for something until you've really done the research. But the devil on your shoulder is that one that's making you question yourself, that's making you doubt yourself. And it's just that fear of failure, but not because you have anything to lose, just because you're afraid of what other people might think. I want to illustrate this through an important statistic that I read. There is an article from The Atlantic called The Confidence Gap, and it states that in a case where there's a promotion, women are only going to apply for that promotion if they feel they meet 100% of the qualifications. Men are going to apply if they feel they meet 50% of the qualifications. To me, that's crazy because who can possibly meet 100% of the qualifications for anything? And if you don't apply for that promotion, you have a lot to lose. But if you do apply and you don't get it, you didn't lose anything. So this is a really good example of when you have to ignore that fear and just go for it. A lot of times, this is the thing that's keeping us from starting a business. There's a lot of great ways to start a business without a lot of money. And what's holding us back from doing that if there is no financial risk? What about that job you want to go for, that career change you want to make? What if you want to move to another country? A lot of these things, you can do it without a huge amount of risk. So it's a matter of identifying that voice. I think something that really helped me is listening to Dave Ramsey's perspective on this. A lot of you might know him as a financial advisor, but he also has great life and entrepreneurial advice in his podcast, EntreLeadership. And he talks about thinking of everything as an experiment. If you do something in your life and it's not successful, you're going to get information from that. You're going to learn from that. That's going to help you to be better in the future. If you didn't ever have that failure, you wouldn't be able to move forward from that. You wouldn't have that knowledge now. So if you don't have that failure, it's going to keep you from that next success. So it's really important to think about. One way to think of this is in terms of sales. A lot of salespeople are really good at this. They understand that failure is part of the process of success. So for example, if they know their statistics, they know their industry, how often they're going to close a sale. If they have several sales pitches in a row where they don't sell anything, they know that that next sale is around the corner. Not making a sale doesn't mean it's time to quit. It means it's time to keep going because that next sale is right there. That's the perfect time to keep going. We can't let failure or we can't let challenges in our paths make us give up because often right before we're about to experience success is when we are feeling the worst and when we're starting to doubt ourselves the most. So I want to end by thinking about an example of Gary Vee. He's a huge role model of mine if you're familiar with Wine Library. And he recently did a podcast where he talked about the fact that people assume he was an overnight success. People see him on TV and they say, wow, you're so lucky. He has been working at this for years and years. But often the most successful people, we don't see their process. We don't see their failures. But they understand that's a huge piece of the success. And often people who keep going, who have confidence, they're the people who recognize that failure is a huge part of the process. So you going out and doing experiments, taking on projects, doing things that are going to help you learn and not being afraid to fail when there really is no risk, that's what's going to get you to the next step. So I hope that today's video helped you think about some things you could do, some risks that you could take that really don't have any negative consequences other than maybe feeling bad if it doesn't work out, and some ways that you can really take risks to learn and grow and move into the next thing. Often your failure is what's going to take you to the next step. So if you enjoyed this video, I hope that you'll share it with someone else who is maybe hesitating in taking that next step. Also, I'd love it if you'd subscribe. You can come here to get tips like this every single week on how to hustle.